Philippines is rich in biodiversity. It is prudent to engage in bioprospecting. It is defined as a systematic and organized search for useful products derived from bioresources, including plants, microorganisms, animals, etc., that can be developed further for commercialization, pharmaceutical value, and overall benefits of the society. The proposed Research and Development Institute will be located in Tanay, Rizal. It will focus on the exploration of natural resources that could be developed into commercially valuable products. The proposal aims to provide responsible approaches and methods in accumulating or yielding of our natural resources. These proper procedures will help us collect data needed for research, develop products and innovations that generate income to boost the economy, all done while conserving our very own rich biodiversity in the country. The problem: lack of modern research institutes that focuses on herbal and drug tracks, and Filipino scientists tend to practice their expertise abroad. Project objective: to provide a workplace for scientists who studies bioprospecting and to give them recognition in the science and technology field.
Reason for research. The integration of medicinal plants as a crop in agroforestry is a relatively new approach that is beneficial to society. This can help boost the Philippine herbal industry by providing adequate supply of raw materials and new discoveries of medicinal plants to create new and valuable resources, or herbal medicines, and drugs from our very own natural resources, for support in local and as well as global needs. Design concept. Terrain-oriented. Fitting the design to the existing terrain allows for the planning, design, and placement of buildings, roads, streets, utilities, and other infrastructure in a manner that complements the existing topography and minimizes the amount of clearing and grading of the project site. Preserve existing vegetation to minimize erosion potential and generation of sediment. Build on flatter areas to reduce soil cut and fill volumes and the cost of grading operations, then more undisturbed natural area on the site is preserved. Limit the site footprint to reduce the clearing and disturbance of a site. This also helps to preserve natural drainage patterns of the site. Preservation of these features often enhances the project's aesthetics and helps minimize the costs associated with clearing and grading of the project. Positioning of buildings and other impervious surfaces away from steep slopes. They should be located in areas of existing flat terrain and with the use of steps and stilts in buildings to correspond to the major axis of site that is parallel to the contour of the land.
Form concept: a stair. A stair is where we take a series of steps or flights to reach one level to another. Precisely represents a research institute where a gradual progressive research are executed to achieve results and accomplishments. Design translation. Adaptive architecture is a multidisciplinary field concerned with buildings that are designed to adapt to their environments, their inhabitants, and objects as well as those buildings that are entirely driven by internal data. To design is to adapt to the natural conditions of the site.
The function or the main focus of the proposal is to adapt to its surrounding natural environment in Tanay where an abundance of plant species can be found for use in bioprospecting. Since the site is an agricultural land, it is also ideal for a plantation to produce medicinal herbal plants which can be further developed through research. It also adapts to local residents of the area whose main source of living is farming.
Design character. Modern architecture. Emphasis of rectangular forms and horizontal and vertical lines. Use of modern materials and system. Relationship between interior spaces and site. Emphasis on open flowing interior spaces. Generous use of glass and natural light. Design philosophy. Form follows function by Louis Henry Sullivan. Functional design, asymmetrical compositions with the use of geometric forms, often with flat roofs and emphasis on horizontal lines. Design considerations includes flexibility, expansion, circulation, aesthetic, orientation, privacy, modernization, and accessibility. Materials used in the development includes insulating glass, structural steel, concrete, polycarbonate skylight, hardwood cladding, and low emissivity glass. Environmental systems. Roof garden rainwater harvesting represents an alternative water supply that captures and stores rainwater for later use. The harvesting of rainwater is as simple as collecting water from surface on which rain falls, and subsequently storing this water for later use. Normally, water is collected from building roofs and stored in dedicated water tanks. Natural lighting. Natural lighting, also known as daylighting, is a technique that efficiently brings natural light into your home using exterior glazing, thereby reducing artificial lighting requirements and saving energy. Natural lighting has been proven to increase health and comfort levels for building occupants. Highlights: Roof gardens. A roof garden is essentially a garden on the rooftop of a building. Man-made green spaces on the topmost level of residential and commercial structures. Consisting of different plants, these verdant areas help improve a building's aesthetics. Extensive green roof. A low-maintenance green roof garden that has a thin, light-weighing growing medium. This type of green roof is characterized by its vegetation, which is often limited to sedums, mosses, herbs, small plants and flowers, desert grasses, and succulents. Because it has a growing medium depth of around 3 to 6 inches, an extensive green roof is easier to install and cost efficient, and generally doesn't require an irrigation system to survive. It is ideal for stormwater management for flat or low slope roofs and retrofits. Composite floor systems. Composite floor systems typically involve structural steel beams, joists, girders, or trusses made composite via shear connectors, with a concrete floor slab to form an effective T-beam flexural member resisting primarily gravity loads. The versatility of the system results from the inherent strength of the concrete floor component and compression and the tensile strength of the steel member. Mechanical systems. The location of main vertical supply or exhaust shafts as well as horizontal ductwork is very crucial in designing a flexible lab. Key issues to consider include efficiency and flexibility, modular design, initial cost, long-term operational cost, building height and massing, and design image. Electrical systems. Three types of power are generally used for most laboratory projects. Normal power circuits are connected to the utility supply only, without any backup system. Loads that are typically on normal power include some HVAC equipment, general lighting, and most lab equipments. Site selected is from the highlands of Tanay, Rizal, of which features solitary land for conducting researches and away from disturbances of the city. It is also a wide and broad land which can be used for experimenting of applied research in open spaces, plantation for different plant species, and for the exhibition of Philippines' very own natural resources, since the site has ecologically rich surroundings. Tanay is a municipality in the landlocked province of Rizal. Tanay is one of the 13 towns. It is becoming an extension of Manila's urbanization along with the city of Antipolo, towns of Cainta, Angono, Taytay, and Binangonan. Sampaloc is a barangay in the municipality of Tanay. Its population, as determined by the 2015 census, was 30,341. The site has a lot area of 229,011.18 square meter or 22.9 hectares. This lot is in irregular shape and has a slope percentage between 10 to 13%, but it is still buildable. The site would approximately take 1.5 hour of travel time if you're coming from Quezon City. Site diagrams. The site is zoned as follows.
Crop plantation, local community area, site utilities, the research and development main building, research laboratories, and the future development.
Site analysis. From the western part of the site is where the nearest road is available, which also gives the noise and the possible entrance to the research institute. The research institute will be positioned in the southwestern part of the site
While the plantation is positioned in the northern part,
to fully maximize the benefits of the sunrise from the east. The northwest and southeast monsoon. Vehicular and pedestrian circulation. The site uses a grid type of planning system in its road networks to utilize the rectangular shape of the site and to its parallel spaces inside. Site slope diagrams. This shows the topography and the developed site being placed into the map.
the site is classified as level to very gently sloping according to the NICE CLUP. I had positioned the plantation into the part of the site that has a higher slope percentage since it's a plantation and the crops and herbs can be planted as long as there is soil, whether in steps or in terraces, as long as it has a bank bed for crop plantation, and then the buildings, roads, and other utilities are positioned in the more stable slope percentage of the site.
Master Development Plan, Scale Not to Scale.
Entrance is located in the southeastern part where the nearest road network is available and a gentle slope that is possible for vehicular access. Once inside the site, first thing to see is the local community area which is also near the road for the occupants. It is then followed by the farm utilities and site utilities until you reach the research and development main building and its laboratories. And by the end part of the site is where the future development is located. The northern part of the site is where the herbal crop plantations is located, as well as the local crops that can already be found in the night is planted with a spacing of 15 centimeter to 100 centimeter per crop. In a traditional single row bed that is 100 centimeter width each, along with the canal or the human path of another 100 centimeter right between each plantation bed. Process of research. It starts with the nursery operation from plantation preparation and management and all throughout growth process of the crops until harvesting. Once it is ready for harvest, it will be sent to the crop storage to be cleaned and washed. It will then be brought to the milling facility to be air dried or oven dried, and sterilized to proceed in the general storage of research and development building where it will be kept. Next is to the preparation center of the labs to be sorted out so it can now proceed to testing and research laboratories for tests and trials to begin bioprospecting. Aside from valuable products that the scientists can discover through bioprospecting, excess resources can also be sold at private companies or manufacturers to generate additional income. Local community housing. Each house in the local community area consists of a three-bedroom accommodation with kitchen, dining, living area, toilet and bath, and a veranda, and is able to shelter 4 to 6 persons.
Research laboratories layout uses a horizontal space type of planning as it is essential in most labs to prioritize the corridors on every laboratory spaces whether on support or auxiliary. Two types of labs are the wet and dry laboratory. The wet laboratory, defined as laboratories where chemicals, drugs, or other material or biological matter are tested and analyzed requiring water, direct ventilation, and specialized pipe utilities. While a dry laboratory space is specific to work with dry stored materials, electronics, and or large instruments with few pipe services. The laboratories defined by this space type are analytical laboratories that may require accurate temperature and humidity control, dust control, and clean power. Research and development building consists of two-story and a roof deck with the skylight that brings natural ventilation to the interior of the building. The ground floor consists of mostly public spaces, employees' quarters, and common spaces for the visitors of the development, for like the showroom and library. The second floor includes the office spaces for the employees and offices for the key personnel of the research and development building. Lastly, the roof deck of the building, where visitors can amuse the magnificent view of the serene nature of Tanay Rizal, along with the development.